One of the things that is very essential when you're working in Inventor is knowing how to uh, efficiently orient your part so that way you can gain access to certain sides of your part so you can add features to it that you want to. And the way that you do that is by using this view cube over here. So right now, let's see if I click on uh, the front face of the view cube, notice that my part will change to where it is showing what is called the front. If I click on this left side here, this is considered the left. Click on the back, this is considered the back side of my part. And if the view cube is flat here, completely flat, then you get these four arrows that pop up toward you. And so you left click on those arrows and your part will rotate 90 degrees in that direction. Again, if the view cube is flat, you also see these curved arrows. And so if I clicked on any one of those curved arrows, you can see that your part will rotate 90 degrees in that direction. And notice that as I'm rotating this thing around, see the shaded area of this cube that represents the bottom. Okay, so if you ever kind of get lost, you want to know where's the bottom at, just look for that shaded area, and then there's the bottom. Now, right here, if you notice, this is the cube is now saying front, and so on our part, this is what's considered the front. Or this is what's been set as the front face of our part. You may decide that you want to change that. So let's say we go here, and even though this says bottom, we want this to be the front of our part. Well, you can change that by going over to the view cube, right click, and then go down to set current view as, and you can either change it to the top or the front, and we'll change it to the front. So now you can see that it now reads front now. And of course, when you change one side, it changes all the other sides. So this is now the top here. Okay? And one other thing I want to point out is that as I'm, when you click on these when you click on this cube here, the edges are also, when you click on the edges or the corners, those also rotate your cube. Okay? So that way you may not want to make a full 90-degree. Um, you want to rotate your part a full 90 degrees. So clicking on the edges or the corners will help you make um, smaller changes. And also, if you left click on the cube, left click and hold down the left click and drag your mouse. Okay? You can also rotate your part that way too, so you can make even more precise movements in between these changes on the edges or the sides or the corners. All right, and let's go back and let's reset our front. Like let's say if I go back and later on I decide, well, I want this to be the front again. Right click and then go back down, and I can either reset the front or just go back and change, whatever this current view is, I can change this to the front, but I'll use reset. So this was our original front that we started with. Also, for another feature is zooming in and zooming out. So if you use the wheel of the mouse, if you scroll forward, then that is zooming out. If you scroll towards you, that is zooming in. And if you press down on the wheel, then you notice that your pointer turns into a little hand icon, and that's like you're grabbing the part and you can move it around this way. Okay. All right, and let's see, that leaves this home icon here. Now this is, if you left click on this will orient the part into what's considered what's been set as a home position. The purpose of this is just like if you were navigating through a website and had a lot of pages and you got lost somewhere in the site and you want to go back to a starting point that's familiar to you, such as the home page. That's the same way that this icon works when you're designing on parts. So you get to the point where you're adding a lot of features, or certain parts are very very similar, and you want to go back to a familiar starting point. well, you set your home position, and then you click this icon here, and it'll take you back to that point. So, and you can change this, and the way that you would change this, let's say I'll move my part like this. Okay? Let's say I want this to be my home position. Go to the icon, home icon, right click, go down to set current view as home, and you have two choices. Let's choose the fit to view. In the fit to view, it will keep your part oriented in what you call home, but it'll resize it to where you can see the whole part on the screen. Okay? But if you decide that you want, let's say I have this. Notice that this top corner is cut off and the bottom corner is cut off. I go here, right click, set current view as home. If I do fix distance, then it's going to keep this part cut off. So even if I zoom out, once I go to home, notice that the top part here is cut off and this bottom part is still cut off. Okay? So that might be, and that might come in handy from time to time. So now I'm going to go back and set my home position to where I originally had it, or something that's a little bit more logical. And I believe it was here, like this. And so right click, go down to set current view, and I'll do fit to view. All right. And just a side note, if you notice that the way this part is laying at an angle here, you can see that it has depth to it. You can see that it is a three-dimensional solid, and this is what's called a isometric view. Okay, so in isometric views, you get depth. If I click on one of the faces here, it turns my part flat, and my part is facing directly towards me, and so it looks like it has no depth. This is what's called a orthographic view, a two-dimensional orthographic view. So if I go to any side, like the left side, again it looks flat, and so I have this is the orthographic view. If I tilt my part at an angle, I get an isometric view, which gives me depth. Right. So, and I'll go more into detail about isometric and orthographic views in the tutorials for using the drawing files. But for now, I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you about how to use this view cube and the home button, so that way working with parts, designing parts in Inventor should be a little easier for you now.